He had everything. So why did he feel like nothing? He checked his bank account. The number was big. He looked at his house. It was beautiful. He stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m. and felt completely, terrifyingly hollow. This is the question that changed his life. What if you won the wrong game? People called Daniel a success story. They pointed at him at parties. That's the man, they'd whisper. Big house, expensive car, money arriving every morning like clockwork. His phone rang from dawn to midnight. He had everything the world told him to want. But every single night in the silence of his grand bedroom, under lights that cost more than most people's monthly rent, Daniel lay awake. His chest tight, his mind loud, something gnawing at him that he could not name. He had everything. And yet something essential was missing. He just didn't know what it was yet. One afternoon, an old school friend knocked on his door. No fancy clothes, a simple bike parked outside. A teacher at a small school, the kind of job Daniel would have quietly pitied a year ago. They sat together. They talked. Daniel noticed something that unsettled him deeply. His friend glowed. Not with wealth or status, but with something quieter. His eyes were calm. His laugh came easy. There was no tension in his shoulders, no restlessness in his hands. He seemed at home in his own life. Daniel couldn't stop staring. Finally, he asked the question he hadn't planned to ask. Are you actually happy? His friend didn't hesitate, didn't perform. He just smiled. The kind of smile that doesn't need an audience. I have very little, but I feel full. I think that's more than most people ever get. Daniel didn't respond. He didn't know how. Those words sat inside him like a stone dropped into still water, rippling outward long after the conversation ended. The very next evening, driving home past a small park, Daniel caught himself slowing down. Children were running. Parents were laughing at something ordinary. A group of strangers shared street food on a bench, talking over each other, completely unbothered by the world. None of them looked wealthy. All of them looked alive. Daniel sat in his expensive car, surrounded by leather and silence, and felt a strange ache. When had he last laughed like that? When had anything felt that effortless? The next morning, he did something he hadn't done in years. He went somewhere with no agenda. He visited his friend's school. The walls were old. The chairs were mismatched. There was no air conditioning, no projector, no prestige. And yet the children's faces were luminous. When his friend walked in, 30 voices rose together. Good morning, sir. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Daniel watched him teach, patient with the slow learners, funny with the distracted ones, genuinely interested in every small answer from every small hand raised. After class, Daniel found himself asking the question that had been pressing against his ribs all morning. Do you ever wish you had more money? Money is useful, his friend said. I'm not pretending otherwise, but peace. Peace is priceless. I have peace. Daniel stayed silent for a long time after that. That night, Daniel did something that felt almost ridiculous in its simplicity. He turned his phone off at 8 p.m. He went to his kitchen, that expensive kitchen he barely used, and made himself a plain meal. He sat at the table. He ate slowly. He looked out the window at nothing in particular. He did not rush. For the first time in what felt like a decade, he did not rush. It felt strange, felt like wasted time. And then slowly, quietly, it felt like breathing. Weeks passed. Daniel made small changes. He stopped shouting at workers and started listening, visited his parents, called friends he hadn't spoken to in years, just to hear their voices. He began volunteering at a small charity school on weekends. None of it felt like success, not in the way he'd always measured it. Something in his body began to unclench. His sleep deepened. His anger grew quieter. His smile stopped feeling like a performance. One evening, he sat on the same sofa in the same house, same walls, same lights, but something was different. Not in the room, but in the man sitting in it. He finally understood what had been missing. He had never been poor in money. He had been poor in meaning. He was rich on the outside, empty on the inside. And now, for the first time, he was building inner wealth, the kind no one can take from you. The kind that shows in your eyes even when you arrive on a simple bike. And you'll learn that true success is not only about earning, it is about feeling. A rich life is not measured by things. It is measured by peace, purpose, and the people you show up for. Money can buy comfort. It cannot buy the feeling of being alive. When he started giving more, he started living more. And that is the moment Daniel truly became wealthy. If you have everything and still feel empty, perhaps you've been chasing the wrong treasure. True happiness doesn't come from what you own. It comes from who you become.